What's up everybody, welcome to another Logic Pro X tutorial in this intermediate level mixing and mastering mini series. I am Clormo, and today part 3 I'm gonna be talking to you about leveling and balancing the rest of the instrumentation of this quick beat that we have been working with in the project. Remember that on part 1 I gave you a link to download this project. If you haven't watched part 1, go ahead and watch it, download the project, follow us, or if you want to follow with your own project, you can do so. Those of you that are not working in Logic Pro X, you can also follow us. It's kind of the same terminologies and the same concepts will apply to your case. So no point in leaving, stay here and let's dive right into what we have to do here. So this is where I ended up in the previous part. So I will bring up the mixer. Again, we don't need to see a lot of this, and I just did very basic leveling and balancing of my drum parts and the bass. I gave you some pointers about why that's important or why I like to do it that way. And what I'm going to do is just bring our friend the level meter, and I'm just going to start doing the same thing for the rest of the items that we have here. So notice that I'm gonna move this around a little bit. Notice that my main synth, it starts from the beginning, but the things are staggered a little bit. So I'm gonna be moving around and making decisions also based on their placement, because if I'm not fighting with anything else, then maybe I don't need to be as aggressive with panning and balancing that sound. Maybe I can keep it in the middle. Then in subsequent videos, I should say, when we start dealing with the EQing and stuff, I'll make other decisions based on the frequencies that each of these guys fall under. Okay, so I'll just put, over here. We are not really like covering anything important, because I always want to keep my the ability to go back to all my drums and come down. I can potentially put all of this through a bus. I'm just not going to do it at this stage because I don't want to confuse you that much. So let's start with this guy, our main. So what I'm gonna do is actually gonna bring this up all the way to there, because I want to not only listen to it on its own and watch those levels, but then as the drums come in, I want to listen to everything together, obviously. Start again. And I want to leave that almost dead in the middle. Take a few listens to that. So if you notice, my bass now kind of drowns a little bit in relation to the main synths. So let's work with that. Just bring everything now to here, because that's where the main part of this is. So our levels are still fine. I may need to come back to the drums a little bit and just tweak a few of the elements just to make sure that I am not losing them. It seemed to me like at this point everything was sounding off as it should. I was a little bit worried about the crash and the percussion here. I'm just gonna zoom in on that a little bit for a few tries. The crash might go up a little bit, and so is the percussion. I think this is pretty good for now. Now let's go to this. So this right here plays right at the intro. So this element here is more like a transition element that's gonna take my main synth into the drums. So pretty important. So let's bring it up. There you go. So I'm gonna do some binaural. I'm just gonna make this be on the back, but right at the middle, because there's an obvious space there that it can live with. It's not gonna really clash with anything. I made it different. I think that was good. So now let's go into this other section here. I think this is also another kind of transitional spot. So actually, let's just have this play a little bit more. Impressive. I think that's probably the level that we want on it. Let's see. I am probably just gonna move it a touch. Maybe there. I think that's fine the way it is. I'll probably just bump it up a little bit more, like I had in the beginning. And we can also enhance that later, obviously, with EQing and some reverb, delay, probably automation. We can enhance some of this stuff. And now let's go to this guy. I think this guy here is not gonna have any problems, but let's play it all the way into the second transition, so that way we can cross-check pretty much all the elements kind of together. So this is a brighter type of track. It's kind of a bell sound. I'm just gonna move that just a little bit there. In fact, I may actually do this instead. I'm just gonna kind of in the back of our head. Let's see. Nice. Okay. That again. Right, so now our main bass, it's gonna transform into something else. You're gonna hear that. So let's just bring all of this kind of, yeah, let's probably just bring it here, because then this just repeats, so that's not going to be an issue. And then our main section repeats, but there's a transition spot here, so I just want to make sure that I glue that together. So maybe my levels are still good for the most part. Maybe I want to just drop this down a little bit. Start down from there. Let's see, my bass probably, and I'll need to enhance that really later with some side chaining probably. That's what's gonna do the trick, but I'm just gonna bump up. Sometimes it doesn't want to do the good old 1-2-1. I swear the shift would do that, but anyway, we'll do that later. So that part, that's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to still hear my bass kind of doing that little fret at the end, that hang up. When the beat takes a little break, you hear that, and then this monster synth comes back in. Let's listen to that again. There you go. That gives it a little bit more movement. I'm gonna bring this guy up. Focus on this guy here. So this guy, it's obviously up for some delay and some reverb. I like how it sounds right now, but just highlighting it and cleaning it up a little bit, enhancing it, it's gonna make a difference. I can tell already. So those are the things that you should be thinking while you're also doing this. Like, what things can I enhance and how? And it's not that you have to enhance everything. Like, you're not obligated to do that. But there are things that you're probably gonna have to enhance a little bit, just sweetening up a little bit with some effects. So don't be shy of trying things that you are already thinking about at this moment. Like, if maybe you're thinking delay and reverb first, because that's kind of how I think most of the time, because it's two of the effects that are most used to enhance stuff. But don't be worried that if you try that and it doesn't work. There's other things that you can try with EQing and distortion, blah blah blah, and you can also try different plugins that will give you different end results, right? So I'm gonna just lower that level a little bit, and I think I want to do a binaural and just place it like maybe not all the way to the left, just there and closer to the end. We have our last portion here, where this guy, it's entirely at the very end. There's almost nothing there, so I'm not gonna do any real panning. I'm just gonna listen to what he has to say, or she has to say. I don't know, it's a stinger. I think I think I also want to do some binaural panning here, right? The middle, make it be more in the center, like that. That guy's also gonna be up for some delay and some reverb, some other stuff. So let's take a listen from the beginning, not to the whole thing. I'm just gonna play at least, let's see, that first transition here. I think it's probably a good spot. It's most of our elements are there, so whatever comes up on my levels should be pretty good representation of what the whole track's gonna sound like, okay? So levels wise, which is what I am most concerned about right now, everything still good. I could again remember potentially come back and fine tune my initial mixing on the drum parts just to make sure that it plays better with the instrumentation. I heard the drums so much in the first part, right? Because I concentrated more on bringing them to the mix, that when you then start listening to the rest of the instrumentation, your ear inadvertently kind of stops listening to this in the same light, like with the same amount of detail. So it's always good to just replay this a little bit more, a few more times, and don't say like, okay, that's it, I'm done. No, you should listen to it a little bit more and then just fine tune here and there just to make sure that you're not missing anything, that nothing's getting drowned, that you don't want it to be drowned. And then once you do that and you're happy with that part, since you're focusing on that part, how all the instruments are playing together, then you take a look again at your levels and make sure where they are, and don't miss that, right? Don't lose track of all those little things. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm happy with what we have here right now, so I'm just gonna save it, and that's it for this video. In the next video then, what I'll be doing, it's gonna be a little bit more on the kick and the bass, specifically the use of side chaining and how to better make those two play, like I said. So there's gonna be a bit of EQing happening in the next video, okay? We're gonna look at the frequencies that these two or three instruments that I have are covering. Gotta make sure that things are not clashing, and then put some side chaining like a cherry on top to prevent things from clashing. And then look at how that's playing with everything else that we have at that point, okay? So with that, I'm gonna leave you for now. If you found any value to this video, or you're watching me for the first time, as usual, I invite you to subscribe, hit the like button, share with your people. If you have any questions or comments, you know how to reach me in social media: Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. My webpage, clormoindustries.com. And last but not least, if you found anything that I showed you here as something new, something useful, something that you didn't know about, what did you learn? Drop me a comment. Anything that you think I could have done better, or that you think you have a different technique to consider, also you can leave it in the comments. Not really mostly for me, but just to share with the rest of the community, and that way, as I always say, we can all grow together. So thanks a lot for the support. Pretty close to or closer to 1,000 subscribers than the one it was at the beginning of the year. So please, please, please help me get to there so that I can start monetizing some of the videos. Really, so that I'm not lying to you. That's really the reason why I want to get there first. But also just to start bringing in some of the things that I want to do, like live streams and listen to your work too and critique, and then maybe we can all critique our stuff together too. That's always good, and that way we can all share what we know and share a fun time, and then help each other out as best as we can. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, people.